In the foothills of the Himalayas, a prince was born. His name was Siddhartha Gautama. He was born in Lumbini, Nepal. The year was around 563 BCE. His father ruled the Shakya people. Siddhartha lived a life of luxury and ease. He had everything a young prince could desire. But beneath the surface, a deep curiosity stirred within him. He yearned for a deeper understanding of life and suffering. One day, Siddhartha ventured outside the palace walls. He saw an old man, a sick man, and a corpse. These sights of suffering shocked him. He realized that pain and death were inevitable parts of life. This realization shook Siddhartha to his core. He had lived a sheltered life. He had never been exposed to such harsh realities. He was determined to find a way to overcome suffering. At the age of 29, Siddhartha made a radical decision. He decided to leave his comfortable life behind. He left his wife, newborn son, and the kingdom. He set out on a quest for spiritual enlightenment. Siddhartha sought guidance from renowned teachers. He mastered ancient meditation techniques. He lived an ascetic life, denying himself all but the bare necessities. He pushed himself to the limits of physical and mental endurance. Despite his efforts, enlightenment remained elusive. Siddhartha realized that extreme asceticism was not the answer. He remembered a time in his youth when his mind had settled into a state of profound peace. He decided to return to meditation. Siddhartha sat beneath a Bodhi tree, vowing not to move until he found enlightenment. He meditated for days, confronting his fears and desires. He finally achieved a state of perfect understanding. At that moment, Siddhartha became the Buddha. The word Buddha means the awakened one. He had awakened to the true nature of reality. He discovered the path to liberation from suffering. The Buddha realized that suffering is a part of life. He also discovered that we cause our own suffering. We cling to desires and attachments. This causes us to suffer when we don't get what we want. The Buddha taught that the way to end suffering is to follow the Eightfold Path. This path leads to a life of wisdom, compassion, and inner peace. The Buddha's teachings spread rapidly throughout India and beyond. Section 4. The Four Noble Truths. The Buddha's teachings are based on the Four Noble Truths. These truths offer a framework for understanding and overcoming suffering. They are the foundation of Buddhism. The first truth, the truth of suffering. Life is full of suffering. Suffering exists in many forms. It includes physical pain, emotional distress, and dissatisfaction. The second truth, the truth of the cause of suffering. Suffering arises from attachment and craving. We cling to desires for pleasure, possessions, and even existence itself. The third truth, the truth of the cessation of suffering. Suffering can cease. By eliminating attachment and craving, we can achieve liberation from suffering. And finally, the fourth truth, the truth of the path to the cessation of suffering. The path to the cessation of suffering is the Eightfold Path. This path leads to enlightenment and the end of suffering. Section 5. The Eightfold Path to Peace. The Eightfold Path is a practical guide to living a moral and fulfilling life. It is not a set of rules, but a set of guidelines for living. Each step supports the others. Together, they lead to a life of greater peace and fulfillment. The first step, right understanding the Four Noble Truths and the nature of reality. The second step, right thought, cultivating thoughts of kindness, compassion, and wisdom. The third step, right speech, speaking truthfully, kindly, and with purpose. The fourth step, right action, engaging in ethical behavior and avoiding harmful actions. The fifth step, right livelihood, earning a living in a way that does not harm oneself or others. The sixth step, right effort, cultivating wholesome qualities and abandoning unwholesome ones. The seventh step, right mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment without judgment. And the eighth step, right concentration, developing focused attention and mental clarity through meditation. Section 6. A legacy of wisdom. The Buddha's teachings have had a profound impact on the world. His message of compassion, wisdom, and peace continues to resonate with people from all walks of life. Buddhism remains a major world religion. It offers a path to inner peace and enlightenment. The Buddha's teachings are as relevant today as they were centuries ago. We live in a world filled with suffering. We face challenges that test our resilience. The Buddha's teachings offer a way to navigate these challenges with grace and wisdom. The Buddha's message is simple yet profound. Suffering exists, but so does the path to its end. By following the Eightfold Path, cultivating compassion and wisdom, we can all find lasting peace and happiness.